All right. Good morning to you, and thank you so much for being here. You're tuned in and listening to Smooth 98.1, Smooth Breakfast with Valentine Obu. And it's time for the Locker Room 981. It's a segment of Smooth Breakfast that goes into sports analysis. I have the sports pundit in the studio, Tega Supreme, Tega Onojaife. Good morning, Tega.
Good
Welcome.
morning.
You're looking grand today.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's special? What's happening? Did you buy us food?
Mm.
Oh,
I'm just fabulous like that.
pride.
Don't hate
On a
fabulous.
Wednesday morning. Send
Good morning,
messages.
everybody.
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning, Tega. Please send your messages. Let us know how you feel about Tega this morning with her wonderful voice and her great analysis. 0809 444 0981 or WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. You can send a tweet to Smooth981FM with the hashtag LockerRoom981 or streaming live on YouTube so you can watch. Say hello, leave a comment on that platform. Special thanks to everyone who's contributing to the progress and success of the show, especially our interns,
Yes.
Okay and Sharon. Good morning. Now, Roger Federer said it was time to go back to the drawing board after the Swiss tennis great lost the first match of his comeback proper in Geneva on Tuesday. In his first outing for 2 months, the 39-year-old lost 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 to Spanish clay court specialist Pablo Adjuga. And he said, Federer, that is, I know my limitations at the moment. People expect a lot from me, and I have high expectations for myself. So when I walk out of a match and feel I could have played so much better, I feel strange and it is disappointing. This is the process I need to go through. I can't get too down on myself.
Yeah, he's right. People expect a lot of him, and he expects a lot of himself because he's Roger Federer. When you're talking about Novak Djokovic, you count all the titles he's won. When you're talking about Nadal, you talk about how he's almost unbeatable on clay. But when you're talking about Roger Federer, you're talking about tennis, period. That's who he is. He plays beautiful tennis, and he still played the same way. It's just that he's been okay. So several things. He's been out with injury since for most of 2020, or what was left of 2020. Then came back, played one match, and had to go back out again. And this is his first match in 2 months, and he's going to turn 40 in August. His mates are not
He
here.
looks like he's just started.
You understand? So the technique is still there, but the match sharpness wasn't. And the stamina was still a little questionable. And the thing about tennis is once you start getting tired, your footwork goes. And once the footwork goes, especially for a guy like Roger Federer, then your shots are not going to get on in within the lines or stay on the court. And so that's where the problem is with him. So he needs a little bit of match sharpness. Unfortunately for him, he played one match and he was knocked out of the tournament. So he's going to have to find a way to get that match sharpness. And he thought this was the tournament that maybe if he played a couple of matches under his belt, it would help him at the French Open, which is starting on May the 30th. So not too far away, but not too many matches between now and then. So he's going to have to find a way. Same thing that happened with Serena Williams. She got to Italy, got knocked out in her first match. Because of that, she had to quickly sign up for a tournament in Parma, and she got knocked out in the second match. So not enough matches under their belt, and then there's a Grand Slam coming up. For Roger, though, he said his season really starts in grass. He's going to play clay courts, but his season really starts in grass. And so, because his season really starts in grass, he's not putting too much expectation on himself. But yeah, Roger Federer, the minute you step on court, everybody wants to see some divine tennis. So
we've been waiting for that.
exactly. Whether you're 40 or 50, Roger, as long as you're playing, that's
care.
what we want to see.
Come on, give us the game. That's why you're Roger.
So he needs that match sharpness. A few people will understand it, and of course, the young guy's still doing more, but he's Roger, so he knows what is expected of him. I'm glad he knows it so that he can deliver it.
Yes. Yes, of course. I like the way you say that. He's Roger.
He's Roger, he knows. All
now,
right.
Tyson Fury's heavyweight unification match with Anthony Joshua could be put on hold after an independent arbitrator ruled that the WBC heavyweight champion must face former champion Deontay Wilder in a rematch. Did you see this coming so soon? But Fury's promoter, Frank Warren, said that he hoped Wilder would, for a lucrative fee, agree to step aside and allow the bout to go ahead. In his words, Warren's words, that is, until we can reach an accommodation with Deontay Wilder's people, I can't say that Fury's fight with Joshua will definitely happen. But we're working hard to get that over the line. We were talking last night, and hopefully we can do that.
Okay, so let me repaint the picture
Negotiating
because
on our money.
yeah, some people have forgotten. So let me paint the picture again. So remember the Deontay Wilder fight one ended in a draw.
Yes.
And then the second fight, Tyson Fury won.
Yes.
And then immediately Wilder had said there was going to be a rematch, and then they both agreed that there was going to be a rematch. But somewhere between coronavirus and agreements, that rematch was cancelled, and Fury was just like, you know what, I'm not doing this rematch again. I'm done, and he leaves. So Deontay Wilder's people now take the case to the Court of Arbitration, and whilst that is happening and nobody has heard anything about this arbitration, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua agree to the fight that we are all waiting for. The rest of the world is waiting for. We've seen Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. We're a little tired. We kind of know who won that one. But the fight that everybody's waiting for was now agreed. It's going to hold in Saudi Arabia. It's going to hold on the 14th of August. Everybody's ready. Only for this ruling to come up that, yeah, you actually owe Deontay Wilder a rematch. Now, according to Tyson Fury, which is what Deontay Wilder's camp is denying, Tyson Fury says if they paid him, I think $20 million, that he would step aside. And Tyson Fury was like, I guess I'm going to have to break your skull again. Maybe I didn't beat you enough the first time. So that's what he claims.
Probably to remind him of his
yeah,
place.
he claims that that's what he's asking for. And there's a wider team is claiming that they haven't asked for anything, that they just want retribution. So what it is that because that fight has to take place, the fight that we all want and we are all waiting for in August or on August the 14th may not hold. So it's a really tricky deal. I don't know if I want them to come to a money agreement. I do want to see the Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight, but at the same time, maybe if Deontay Wilder gets in the ring with Tyson Fury and loses again, it'll be certain for him.
Do you really think he's going to lose again?
I think so. I think the reason why he was beaten in the first place is the same reason why he will be beaten in the second place. Technically, tactically, strategically, and psychologically, he is inferior to Tyson Fury. And those are all the things. Those are the things that Tyson Fury used to beat him. End of discussion.
Actually,
he's just a raw talent. I don't know how to put it. He's like crude oil. And what you need to put in your car is fuel. So Tyson Fury is the refined product, is the fuel, and he's just too crude to take advantage. So while he's very exciting as a prospect, he's not really useful in the state that he's in to do much.
Imagine comparing a living, breathing human being to
crude oil. Crude oil is expensive.
I know.
Yeah, in the market, you know what I'm talking about.
Refined crude. Now, Chelsea have avenged their FA Cup final defeat, that is by Leicester, to move above the Foxes into third in the Premier League with a 2-1 win in front of 8,000 fans at Stamford Bridge on Tuesday. Antonio Rudiger and Jorginho from the penalty shot scored the goals for Thomas Tuchel's men to keep the place in next season's Champions League in their own hands. Now, victory away to Aston Villa on Sunday will guarantee Chelsea a top 4 finish. You think they will do it?
Yeah, looking like Thomas Tuchel said after the match, the fight is not over, because it wouldn't make sense for them to have won this battle against Leicester City and then go and lose on the final day to Aston Villa, and even one of Liverpool or Leicester City wins their own game. So it is important for them to keep the fire on. They were celebrating yesterday because they thought, okay, we finally have our destiny in our own hands. But really, they still have to play the last game with all the fire that they have in them. But what they did yesterday was very important, because had Leicester City won yesterday, it would have been talking of a completely different story. But for Leicester City on the day, they didn't show up the way. I think the Chelsea team came out with urgency and intensity, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of bitterness that they lost the final. They kept saying that they were not thinking of that game, but the truth is, it was in the back of their mind. Because from the blast of the whistle, the way they took on the Leicester side, I mean, match hasn't started, they were all over Leicester City like white on rice. So it it was a different approach to the game. And the more they upped their tempo, it seemed Leicester City couldn't match it. Almost as if Leicester City was still in their locker room celebrating and dancing to Dr. Sid when they should have been concentrating on trying to be in top four. And that's where the problem was. I think Chelsea was a little more urgent. And I think that if some decisions by the referee had gone in Chelsea's favor, maybe Chelsea would have been more goals, would have had more goals, especially in the first half, because they played an absolutely brilliant first half. I think it was a penalty. I don't care whether you say the player played for it, whether the player played for it or not. The fact is, he put his leg in between Telemans and the ball, and Telemans kicked him in the back of his leg. Contact was there. Intent is of no consequence. Give us the penalty. Let us play. The referee and the VAR looked at it and said no penalty. I was shocked, but these things happen.
And then it wasn't contested.
Well, the
VAR
referee, the center referee is the final decision on this decision maker on the pitch. He said no penalty, therefore it's no penalty. You can't write a book later after the match. They will play another penalty outside the match, and so it was a little tricky. But at the end of the day, Chelsea deserved all 3 points from the way they played across the 98 minutes that they played. Because they played 98 minutes across the 98 minutes that we played. Even though Leicester City could have snuck in an equalizer if Ayoze Perez had scored the open chance that he had. So congratulations to Chelsea. They've taken step 1. Now they need to finish that step 2 against Aston Villa on the final day. That's important.
Something to look out for.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
And then for Liverpool, for the final day to be of any real consequence, Liverpool has to win today.
Yes. Really, that's true. That's true.
Yes, so a lot of permutations.
Mm.
But for Leicester City, their final game is against Tottenham, and that's a tough one because Tottenham are also trying to stay in Europe. So it's tricky to be playing such a big team on the final day. But hey, if you want to be in Europe, you have to beat the big teams. End of discussion.
You have to play the game. Football. Now, Karim Benzema was named France provisional Euro 2020 squad by Didier Deschamps on Tuesday, giving the Real Madrid striker an international recall after a 5.5-year absence over his alleged role in a blackmail plot. Now, the 33-year-old has not played for France since October of 2015, but is now set to line up alongside World Cup winners Kylian Mbappe and Antoine Griezmann at the delayed European Championship, which gets underway on June 11th. Deschamps said he had, quote, ignored his Benzema's personal case, end quote.
He had ignored it before or now? Because it has to be now. Because before you couldn't ignore it. Especially, okay, so here are the details of the case that made it a little tricky. So according to reports, it said that Benzema motivated or told some other guy to blackmail Frank Ribery, who was his teammate at the time. So he was involved in that guy blackmailing his teammate. Now, for team spirit, that is not good. So there is no way in which Benzema, because other teammates can't trust you.
Yeah.
It's a team sport now. They need to be able to depend on you. And you can say, oh, but that was an off the pitch instance. It's not. You can't separate the two. So it was his teammate that, according to them, he allegedly helped somebody else to blackmail. And so team spirit divided. He had to go.
No trust.
No trust, truth be told. Yeah. So maybe, but if a few things have happened over the years, I don't think it's a consequence of whatever the court's ruling is or is going to be. It is just a consequence of maybe Benzema doing the right things off the pitch, outside the field of play, and also on the pitch for Real Madrid, because this season he scored 29 goals. He's their best scorer. He's their I wanted to say top striker, but that sounds like something else. He's the one that has come up for them, and so his form and maybe all the other negotiations that have been going on the pitch has finally said, okay, you know what, you can get into Europe. But the important thing is his form helped, because this season he's been in blistering form, and France needs that. And so nations have decided, look, this is Euro 2020. No team is in great form, but if we're going to win it, let's carry our best guys there. And Benzema happens to be one of the best guys, even in Europe. So welcome to the team. And it only teaches us one thing. just do your job and do it well.
Yep.
Every other thing will align eventually. Just always put in your best. Whether they're calling you for the team or not, just put in your best. You do not know who is watching and when your opportunity will come. So that's the lesson you must learn from Benzema. He just kept plugging in, and today he has his reward.
Thank you so much. That's a good note to take a short break. Remember that line: if you have to do something, do it excellently well. Here at Smooth, that's exactly what we believe in.
Unfortunately, WhatsApp messages are not. They're not dropping.
This is affecting it. We love you so much. You're not the one, but I mean, like, the device, like, plug it. It's affecting it. Thank you so much for watching. Listen to the remaining part of the show, or the conversation, and would encourage you to send in your messages to WhatsApp 0809 444 0981.
I've pressed spoil. I've pressed spoil.
Click on it. No, click on it. Yeah. Have you ended it? Ended now.
What are you ending?
Right. Thank you so much.
The live is